Wow, it's a little windy today. Hey guys, just hanging out in the horse's pasture after my ride this morning, and I wanted to talk about something that precipitated today's ride, and that is that I got a few comments from one of my rides last week, I want to say. It was the ride that I took Polo outside for the first time this year, and the comments are greatly appreciated. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I ride by myself, and you know, I'm an out of practice adult amateur who has a young, just turned 4-year-old thoroughbred. So there are a lot of things to give me feedback on, and I appreciate the comments, I really do. I just wanted to address the comments that I got from that particular video of our first ride outside. So, two of the comments were that, one, I was riding backwards, and two, that I was hanging on his face. And both of those are completely fair. I will admit I was a little bit nervous about taking him outside. Even though we rode outside a couple times last year, this was our first time out this year, and it was kind of chilly, and I'm nervous. I mean, I'm a 54-year-old and I don't bounce anymore. So, yeah, I admit it. I was holding on to his face, and I definitely was not riding forward. I was doing anything to avoid going forward, in all honesty. I just didn't want him to remember that he was a racehorse and take off with me. So the comments were fair, and as far as hanging on his face, I went back and I watched the video, and yeah, there are definitely parts where it looks like I'm hanging on his face. And the reason why we were fighting against each other, and he kept wanting to reach down either to grab grass or to take off. I could feel with every bit of energy from his body that he was ready to run. And so I was hanging onto his face, and in my mind, I was still, I was taking, but then I softened. Take and soften, but he kept rooting down and pulling me. So I would take pretty big, and then I would soften a little bit. So anyway, the comments were fair, and like I said, I appreciate them. Any feedback is great, and I want this channel to be a community of like-minded people. So, I just wanted to say that and reflect on that before I show you today's ride, which, unfortunately it was inside because the ground is super wet again, in that field anyway. I'm sitting here in this field and I can feel my butt getting a little bit damp, but it's worth it to hang out with my boys. But yeah, the ride was inside, and I wanted to just consider, hi Goose, hi. He's snorting at me. He's like, what are you doing, Mom? But I wanted to test out, was I hanging on his face? And as far as riding him forward, keep in mind that this is our third week in training, and even though we did ride a little bit last year, we didn't really focus on anything. I was just like, can I get on my 3-year-old thoroughbred ex-racer? So, yeah, everything that we're doing right now is completely new to him. Hi, Goose! And so I'm not at a point yet where I'm trying to get any kind of connection with his hind end up to the bed or anything like that. So yeah, it's fair. I was riding him backwards on that first ride outside, but I don't think I'm doing anything to ride backwards today. I don't know, I haven't watched the video, so maybe I am. But I am not super concerned about any kind of frame or anything like that yet. I am more concerned about the rhythm. So that's what I'm really starting to focus on. So anyway, take a look. Let me know what you think. This is Goose. Hi, Goose. Hi. Hi. What's up? What's up? He's one of my old guys that hasn't been ridden in since 2000. I want to say the winter of 2000. So it's been about 5.5, 6 years. So anyway, there's my other one, Jim's. He's my oldest. I've had him for almost 20 years, and unfortunately this is probably going to be our last summer together, but he's happy right now. So anyway, watch the video, let me know what you think. All right, time to get out of that wind. Sorry about the noise on the intro, guys. So as I was saying, this ride is basically just to test myself to see if I'm riding too backwards or hanging on his face. So I am not going to really talk very much. This video is basically just for me to be able to see what I'm doing and to start focusing a little bit more on being correct. But this one, I'm just kind of playing around with him. And yeah, so you can see, I mean, just keep in mind, he is an ex-racer. He doesn't really know anything. And all he knows is that he's supposed to go. So if I ask him to come forward a little bit, there is going to be a little bit of a discussion about, good boy, you're going forward, but that's not the correct answer anymore. So anyway, let's just watch. So as I go around, I'm just sort of experimenting and alternating between taking a little bit more feel and then also at other points trying to encourage him to stretch down a little bit. Oh, but first we have to get over some coughing. There we go. I think he's almost done coughing. And now we can focus again. I know that my position is not great. I'm out of shape. I'm getting there, but when I ask my horses to halt, I typically train them to halt based on me closing my thigh and sitting a little bit, not deeper necessarily, but more still in the saddle. But as you saw in that last transition, I'm trying to do it without much rein, if any, and he doesn't know it yet, and my body's not responding quite the way I like it to. But again, we're getting there. Does anybody else count while you're posting? Because that's what I'm trying to do a lot in this ride, just to keep my rhythm consistent. I've actually ridden with a metronome before to make sure that my posting doesn't get too fast. But right now, it's just me counting to my horse. Anyone else do it? No, just me. Unfortunately for Polo, I also sing quite a bit when I'm riding. So, poor guy. Poor guy. So see, he's trying to figure out where to go to keep a consistent contact, and I'm just asking him to stretch down a little bit, and the halts are getting better. So, good boy. And just a reminder, or maybe you probably haven't watched my other videos because not very many of you are. But just to let you know that he is kind of mouthy with the bit. That's just a baby thing. I recently switched from a rubber bit to, this is a Mylar Comfort Snaffle. So I will post the link down below to this bit and the bit I was using before, and they are my two go-tos for thoroughbreds just starting off. They're nice and soft. So yeah, I'll post those down below. Now here's kind of a little mini half halt, just seeing if he would come back to me for a few steps. And he got it, and I don't think that I pulled on him too much to get it. So not a bad canter transition, considering that I didn't try to balance him up or anything. That was just him going around. And I mean, we're not balanced like through the turns or anything. And he still is not really moving off of my inside leg at all. But, you know, I don't think I was pulling on his face. And yes, I'm flopping around. His canter is a little bit rough right now, but we'll get there. And right there for that transition, I had been working on getting him a little more balanced, and then I completely dropped him right before I asked for the canter, so that was pretty bad. And there I'm just testing to see if I'm balancing on the reins or not, and as soon as I let go of the rein, and I must have taken my leg off, then he decided he couldn't canter anymore. So that's, sometimes I really have to keep my leg on to keep him going. And yes, he's completely on his forehand and we're unbalanced. He's actually better to the right, I'd say. But again, keep in mind, this is our 3rd week and he just turned 4. He's got such a good brain, though. What a good boy. I want to say, I think this is only my 3rd canter on him. So, yeah, I think we're doing okay. I know I look bad. I'll work on it, guys. And I just want to thank anybody that's still watching. I know that these videos are very boring for the most part, which honestly they should be at this point. So I really do appreciate if you're watching. I don't know why I'm putting this out there. Making these videos is kind of fun, but it's also a little time consuming. But I'm going to ride anyway, and I want to document it for me. But even if there's just one person out there that's going through the same issues as I am, I don't know. Hopefully somebody can relate. So anyway, I just want to say that I appreciate you. And, obviously I am no professional. There's nothing fancy. I know my colors are all mismatched. I'm just a very real person. I've got a ton of other work to do, but I don't know why. I just want to share. So hopefully you can relate. So I'm just gonna let the rest of the ride play out. It's all pretty much the same, but thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll follow along and see where we can progress from here. So have a good day. Bye.